Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Burton, the CEO of the World Land Trust, and I'd like to welcome you all here to the Royal Geographical Society this evening. We spent a very interesting afternoon discussing various aspects of orangutan conservation in small groups, and those groups are now represented here. And this evening, we're very honoured to have Lord Cranbrook, who is very well known as a zoologist in Southeast Asia, who's going to chair the meeting and introduce the various speakers and start the debate going. So I'll hand you straight over to Lord Cranbrook without any further ado. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for a brief introduction. This is, in a sense, a continuation of a debate that happened about a year ago, which was streamed live and was online and was an interesting participation in the first discussion of the important topic that is before us tonight. It had interventions online, and I had to answer questions. I had to deal with questions coming in from a totally unseen audience from all over the world, in addition to the people in front of me tonight. Tonight, you'll be relieved to know that you alone have the opportunity to participate in this debate. This is not being streamed live. It is not on the net. It is not on the web, although it will be on the World Land Trust website in due course. We assume, or I assume, that all of you are interested in the conservation of orangutans. If there's anyone who's not interested in the conservation of the future of orangutan, please put up your hand. Good, 1 point covered. So we are all here because we are interested in this same very important subject. Now, in orangutan conservation, there are a realm of different activities occurring and many places in which important things are being done. But there is, as we discussed this time roughly last year, an overwhelming dilemma. And that we have tried, and I say we now because it's been a joint effort between myself and the staff of the World Land Trust, to put together something that will make a reasonable debating motion given the variety of emotions that circulate around this topic. So the question that will be before you this evening, I suppose is somewhere on the papers that you have all received. It's on my paper, and it reads, have you got it up there or not? It reads, even with limited funding available, reintroduction of captive orangutans is as important for their conservation as habitat protection. That is the motion. Against that motion, we have to say that even with limited funding available, reintroduction of captive orangutans is not as important as their conservation and habitat protection. Or to put it the other way around, the conservation of orangutans in their natural habitat is more important in funding terms than reintroduction of captive orangutans. Now, I'll ask you to put up your hands again. Those of you who have failed to understand me, please put your hands up. Well, that's even more remarkable. So I think it's a triumph of my use of the English language. Thank you. So those of you who support the motion at the beginning of this debate as follows: even with limited funding available, reintroduction of captive orangutans is as important for their conservation as habitat protection. Would you please just put up your hands to indicate where you feel these are? What you are voting for is a balanced approach in which rehabilitation and reintroduction is as important as habitat protection. Just hands up, please. Is anyone here who can count? Quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 hands visible. How many hands visible, Mary? About 35. There you are. She's a better hand counter than me. So about 35 people. Now, those of you who would like to say that the conservation of wild orangutans and habitat protection is more important than the reintroduction of captive orangutans, rehabilitation of captive orangutans, that is to say, the not side of things. Please put up your hands. Wow. Mary? I think that as they do in the House of Lords, I say the ayes have it, or actually the noes have it. The noes have it. Okay? The noes have it. We don't bother to count in the House of Lords when there is a good display of hands like that. So at the minute, the noes have it. So at the minute, the mood of this meeting is that the conservation of natural habitat and wild orangutans is more important for funding organizations than the rehabilitation and reintroduction. Okay, so that's where we start. Now, as John Burton said to you just now, we have spent an extremely interesting afternoon with four very high-powered tables discussing various issues. And I'm now going to ask the spokesman for each of those workshop tables to come up in together, I think, to sit, please, here on this platform where you will each have speakers. Could you come up now, please? And then I will introduce you briefly and ask you to speak for 10 minutes on your subject.